The world is currently standing on the razor's edge of a conflict that the mainstream media is desperate to downplay, but the reality on the ground tells a much more terrifying story. At this very moment, the perceived invincibility of the American military machine is being systematically dismantled by an adversary that was supposed to be contained and deterred. We are witnessing a fundamental shift in global power as Iran maneuvers to expose critical vulnerabilities in the U.S. defense umbrella, vulnerabilities that could lead to a catastrophic humiliation for Washington. The question isn't just whether a war is coming, but whether the United States has already lost the invisible opening gambit. To truly understand the gravity of this moment, we have to look past the surface-level headlines and examine the decades-long chess match between Washington and Tehran. Since the 1979 revolution, the United States has operated under the assumption that economic sanctions and technological superiority would eventually bring the Iranian regime to its knees. For years, the policy in the halls of the Pentagon and the corridors of Brussels has been one of maximum pressure. We were told that Iran was a pariah state, isolated and technologically backward, capable only of asymmetrical nuisance attacks. But while the West was focused on election cycles and internal bureaucratic squabbles, Tehran was playing a much longer game. They haven't just been surviving, they have been studying. They've watched every U.S. intervention in the Middle East, mapped out the logistics of every carrier strike group, and identified the precise points where the American high-tech war machine is most fragile. But that wasn't all. In the last 72 hours, a series of intelligence leaks and tactical maneuvers has sent shockwaves through the Pentagon, revealing that the U.S. military's most sophisticated defense systems may be fundamentally compromised. It started with a coordinated electronic warfare demonstration in the Persian Gulf that left several U.S. Navy assets momentarily blind and deaf in international waters. This wasn't a fluke. It was a calculated message. For years, the official narrative has been that American Aegis systems and Patriot batteries are the gold standard of protection. Yet, reports are now surfacing, reports the establishment is trying to bury, that Iranian-made, suicide, drones and hypersonic-capable missiles have successfully bypassed these shields in simulated runs. The immediate reaction from the White House has been one of frantic damage control, with officials insisting that our readiness remains absolute. But behind closed doors, the mood is one of pure panic. The consequence of this failure is not just tactical, it is existential for the American presence in the region. If the U.S. cannot protect its own high-value assets from a regional power like Iran, the entire concept of deterrence evaporates. One high-ranking official, speaking on the condition of anonymity, reportedly described the situation as a wake-up call that the alarm clock has already smashed. We're seeing a cascading series of failures where the very technology meant to ensure our safety is becoming a liability. When the most expensive military in history finds itself outmaneuvered by low-cost, high-impact innovations from a sanctioned nation, the humiliation isn't just looming, it's already happening. Why does this matter on a deeper level? To answer that, we have to put on our analytical lenses and look at the institutional decay within the military-industrial complex. For the last 20 years, U.S. defense procurement has been driven by massive, multi-billion-dollar projects designed for a world that no longer exists. These are legacy systems, colossal aircraft carriers and stealth jets that are masterpieces of engineering but are increasingly vulnerable to the democratization of destruction. Iran has recognized a truth that the globalist elite in D.C. are too proud to admit: you don't need a trillion-dollar air force to win a conflict in the 21st century, you just need to make it too expensive and too risky for your opponent to show up. This is the asymmetric trap. While Washington was building gold-plated hammers, Tehran was perfecting the art of being the needle. By focusing on mass-produced drone swarms and high-speed ballistic missiles, Iran has created a scenario where the cost of defense far exceeds the cost of attack. Think about the math: a single interceptor missile for a Patriot system costs millions of dollars, while the drone it's trying to shoot down might cost $20,000. This isn't just a military problem, it's an economic one. Can the US sustain a high-intensity conflict when every win on the battlefield results in a net loss for the Treasury? This strategic calculation is exactly what the establishment media ignores because it challenges the narrative of Western dominance. And it gets worse. As the US tries to recalibrate, Iran is moving even faster to shore up its alliances with other anti-establishment powers. We are seeing unprecedented intelligence sharing between Tehran, Moscow, and Beijing. This is no longer just a regional spat, it's a global realignment designed to push the United States out of the Eastern Hemisphere. Recent satellite imagery has revealed new Iranian installations that appear to be integrated with foreign satellite navigation systems, potentially giving their missiles the precision they need to strike impossible targets. The response from the EU and Brussels has been predictably weak, a series of strongly worded letters that the Iranian leadership treats as nothing more than scrap paper. But here's where it gets really interesting. While the Biden administration tries to maintain a facade of diplomatic engagement, the reality is that they have been backed into a corner. Every move they make seems to play right into Tehran's hands. If the US increases its troop presence, it provides more targets for Iran's precision strike capabilities. If it withdraws, it signals a total collapse of American influence, leaving allies like Israel and the Gulf states to fend for themselves in a new, Iran-dominated reality. This tension is building toward a breaking point, an inflection moment, where the official story and the ground reality will finally collide in a way that can no longer be ignored. The central revelation came during a recent, unpublicized security summit where a leaked briefing revealed the true extent of the vulnerability. It turns out that a significant portion of the secret U.S. communications infrastructure in the Middle East has been mapped by Iranian cyber units. This isn't just about reading emails, it's about the ability to disrupt the kill chain, the process of identifying, tracking, and striking a target. In a high-speed modern war, if you lose your data link for even 60 seconds, you've lost the battle. The revelation was staggering. Our technological advantage, the report stated, has become our greatest single point of failure. We are witnessing a paradigm-shifting moment where the David of the Middle East has found the Goliath's electronic Achilles heel. This isn't just theory, it's a historical turning point. We're seeing the end of the era where a superpower could simply park a fleet off a coast and dictate terms. The emotional peak of this realization is hitting the rank and file of the military, who now realize they are being sent into a potential theater of war with tools that might not work when the on switch is flipped. The insider knowledge being whispered in the halls of the Pentagon suggests that we are looking at a potential Millennium Challenge scenario in real life, referring to the famous 2002 wargame where a red team using old-school tactics and suicide boats decimated a high-tech blue team. Only this time, it's not a game. What are the long-term implications of this catastrophic humiliation? In the short term, we are looking at a total loss of confidence in American security guarantees. If you are a leader in Riyadh or Abu Dhabi, and you see that Washington can't even secure its own encrypted lines, why would you continue to peg your future to the US dollar or American protection? This leads to a medium-term consequence, the rapid acceleration of a multipolar world. We are talking about the end of the petrodollar era and the rise of a new security architecture in the East that completely bypasses the Atlanticist institutions. There is also the ideological conflict to consider. For years, the globalist establishment has argued that liberal democracy and technological progress were synonymous with unbeatable power. Iran's ability to expose these failures is a massive blow to that entire worldview. It shows that a nation can remain sovereign, resist the dictates of the international, rules-based order, and still develop the means to checkmate a superpower. This is why the establishment is so terrified. They aren't just afraid of Iranian missiles, they are afraid of the example Iran is setting for other nations who want to break free from the Brussels-Washington axis.